welcome back and happy Tuesday. We are coming to you with another great topic. This week, we're going to be looking at the shift from live to digital, of course, very topical given what's happening in the world and the impact on people. So this week, we have a guest who I've known for a number of years, and I'm super excited to get her on the show, and Jan Mercer-Doms, and she is the VP of U.S. Business Development at Mayshad Choice. Jan, thank you so much for being here. Happy to have you and continue our conversations on now recorded.
Hi, Scarlett. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone.
Absolutely. Okay, so to get started, because this topic, we could sit here for hours and talk about this, but let's set the stage. Who is Mayshad, and what are you doing and why now?
Thanks, Scarlett. Mayshad Choice is an ecosystem of brands for women by women. And we help women connect to each other and to the companies, causes, and institutions that support equity for women professionally and personally. And we do that in a variety of ways through our corporate consulting, helping companies rise above the noise as it pertains to creating innovative diversity, equity, inclusion strategies. We do that through what used to be our live events, which is exciting that we're actually going to be speaking about this now because we've transferred everything to online digital and producing multiple touch points that go big and go deep in many different ways for professional women and for the men that support professional women each and every week. And then we also have a technology platform too that we're launching that's an end-to-end relationship management platform for women to be able to connect, engage, and do business together.
Awesome. So I know one of the things that you and I have been speaking about for years is the power of networking, the importance of networking, and how fundamental and crucial it is to success. There's a lot of things that can represent success for an individual, talent, brain, everything else, but it's really that network aspect. And we also have talked about how, and of course this is a generalization, but that women have had more challenges on that network component than men have. So I'm curious, with the world that we're living in now, how has networking evolved since we don't have that face-to-face, which is so important, and especially what is the impact on women in networking?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, it's interesting because I think that historically men have networked from a very transactional perspective. I need something, so I'm going to ask a friend or a buddy or a colleague or a coworker for guidance and assistance. And it's much more a linear route from point A to point Z in the sense of how you receive and benefit from the ask. For women, as we know, we're much more relational. So we're very much driven by relationships. We're very much driven by giving and receiving and helping and nurturing each other and our families and our communities, and et cetera, et cetera. For us, it's much more about the relationship. And sometimes that relationship isn't a linear point, but often it's very much like this, right, before you get to point Z. I think also we think about risk in very different ways too. And so we're much more risk adverse when it pertains to asking for money, asking for help. And there are that's a whole nother show. It's a whole different set of psychological and sociological reasons for that. But what we find now is that now that we're in the digital world, yes, it's definitely about the relationship because look, we're all craving intimacy. We're craving connection. We're isolated. We're working from home and we're taking care of families. And so for us, it's now how can you engage with another human being in that professional sense? And look, like we're all doing Zooms. Our business cards now literally are our little Zoom square. And so you're peering into the life of everyone else who's around you on that Zoom call. So in a way, it's like we're almost taking off our mask. We're taking off our makeup. We're letting our roots come in. And we're being much more authentic and much more genuine in how we interrelate with each other, knowing that because of the pandemic, there are great days and there are days that honestly are not so great. And so for us, it's also been interesting to see now that there's a complete blend of the personal and professional. So there's no such thing anymore as the separation of life and work because we're all kind of living it together in this moment in time and thinking through what women are really good at. We're really good at listening to our intuition. We're really good at vision. We're really good at, in a very indirect sort of way, connecting dots. And what we're finding is that in this moment in time of uncertainty, women are actually now finally just become more comfortable with risk in general as it pertains to not just waiting for the future to come to us, but us being a part of creating the new future. And what we're finding now, and Scarlett, just as well as I do, all of the data that indicates how companies perform better when there are more women in management levels at all levels, and how companies perform better when there are women on boards. We know that all things related to gender and equity and the environment and sustainability are really being shaken up right now during this period of time. And that's also going to impact like how we all relate and connect with each other, understanding that, there's the humanity behind it as well. And that's really coming out to play.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And you, of course, have these vibrant, beautiful pictures in the background that showcase your personality. And I usually have that too, but this is a shared office with the husband. So we got to keep it as professional as possible. So you mentioned you started getting a little bit into women in leadership and the statistics around that and boards and whatnot. So let's just go there really quickly. What does leadership look like at this moment in time, and how has that shifted?
It's such a good question. And I honestly think we're still trying to figure it out, really. It's, many companies that were heavily investing in diversity, equity, and inclusion strategies are heavily investing in corporate consulting around just creating and sustaining cultures look like they're still trying to figure out like how to make sure that employees can have the technologies that they need to have access to, that they have the resources that they need to have access to. And given the fact that we now have, I think today's numbers, 38 million Americans are now unemployed within just 9 weeks. That's crazy. And as we know, women are overrepresented in every industry in those statistics. And so for us, we're trying to figure out like really what does leadership mean right now for leaders and for employees. And honestly, it comes down to a few different things. And when you think about it like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like we're kind of like, we were striving for self-actualization and now we're kind of back down here just in the sense of the basic needs. Like what does an employee need to stay happy or to feel happiness or to feel and experience joy in a world where there's so much craziness and so much gray area just surrounding how we're going to come out of this together. I think it's also how can employees feel secure in a world where there is very little security, and how can we connect at a human level? We like to say at Mesha that we're bringing the humanity back to social media so that we're not just engaging in what the flat world is, but we're actually using this as a moment in time to really think through in a very creative way, what is it that we're creating? How are we adding value? And really, where can leaders find those ways to be able to be effective from a more of an emotional intelligence perspective? How can you show and feel empathy for others? And how can you use this moment in time to practice your own soft skills around those things as well? And I think that for us, we're seeing many more conversations in that space, whereas in the past, those were nice to haves. But now what we're seeing is that those strategies are really embedded into the company's business structure and their business offerings.
Absolutely. So many gems there and tweetable moments, which I will certainly do. Jan, as always, such a pleasure. For more information on Mesha Choice, Jan, and the rest of the team's background, please click on the link below. You will have the full Q&A. There is a lot there, a lot to get excited about. As always, my dear, such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scarlett. And great to be with you today.
Absolutely. For all of you, until next week, signing off. Looking forward to seeing you again soon.